Hello, and welcome. Have you ever found yourself sitting in a quiet room, yet your mind is the loudest place in the world? Have you ever felt the weight of 1,000 thoughts, each one pulling you in a different direction? One moment, you are lost in a memory from years ago, feeling the sting of an old regret. The next, you are propelled into the future, wrestling with anxieties about things that have not yet happened and may never happen. This constant chatter, this relentless storm within the mind, is a part of the human experience. It is a river of thoughts that flows without cease, and too often, we feel as though we are drowning in its current. We become so entangled in the stories of our past and the worries for our future that we forget how to simply exist. We forget the feeling of the solid ground beneath our feet, the warmth of the sun on our skin, the simple, profound peace of the present moment. Our minds become like a stormy sea, with waves of guilt, fear, and desire crashing against the shores of our consciousness. This inner turmoil leaves us feeling exhausted, disconnected, and unable to find the calm harbor we so desperately seek. We lose our ability to sleep deeply, to enjoy a simple meal, or to share a genuine smile. Life becomes something to be endured, rather than something to be lived. But what if there was a way to calm this storm? What if the secret to finding inner peace wasn't about fighting the waves, but about learning to find the stillness that lies deep beneath them? What if the answer wasn't a complex formula or a distant destination, but a simple truth already waiting within you? Today, I want to share a story with you. It is the story of a young man named Marco, who was just like many of us, restless and lost in the labyrinth of his own mind. His journey to find peace is a timeless parable, a guiding light that can help us find our own way back to the quiet center of our being. So, find a comfortable place, allow your body to relax, and let us travel together to a small village, nestled in the heart of the mountains. Once upon a time, in that small village surrounded by towering silent mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. To an outsider, Marco's life seemed peaceful. He lived in a cozy cottage, the air he breathed was clean and crisp, and the rhythm of the village was slow and predictable. But inside, Marco's world was anything but peaceful. His mind was a relentless whirlwind of thoughts. All day long, from the moment he woke to the moment he lay his head on his pillow at night, different thoughts came and went. They were like uninvited guests who filled every corner of his mind, leaving no room for silence. These thoughts made him feel deeply uneasy and chronically tired. He would be mending a fence, and his mind would replay a clumsy conversation from the week before, making him cringe with embarrassment. He would be eating his lunch, and his mind would be consumed with worry about whether the coming winter would be harsh. He always felt a deep, aching sadness about his past. He would remember mistakes, missed opportunities, and unkind words, and they would play in his mind on a loop, each repetition as painful as the first. At the same time, he worried constantly about the future. He worried about his health, about finding a partner, about the crops, about growing old. His mind was always in one of two places: the unchangeable past or the unknowable future. Because of these thoughts, his mind was a perpetual storm. He couldn't feel calm, he couldn't sleep well, and he had long forgotten the simple, unburdened joy of a genuine smile. One day, while visiting the market, Marco overheard two traveling merchants speaking in hushed, reverent tones. They spoke of a faraway village, hidden deep within the hills, a place that was difficult to reach. They said that a wise old man lived there. According to the legend they shared, this man used to be a famous and respected psychologist in the bustling city. He had spent his entire life studying the human mind, had helped thousands of people navigate their inner turmoil, and had taught them how to find a lasting peace that came from within. Now, the man was old. He had left behind the busy, demanding life of the city and had chosen to live a simple, quiet life in a village close to nature. He lived in a small house, tended a garden, and spent his days in quiet contemplation. The merchant said he rarely spoke, but sometimes, for those who made the arduous journey to find him, he would offer a piece of advice, a single lesson that had the power to change a life. As Marco listened, a flicker of curiosity, a spark of hope, ignited within his weary heart. For the first time in a long time, he felt something other than anxiety or regret. He decided, with a conviction that surprised even himself, that he must go and meet that old man. He thought, "I have tried everything else. I have tried to ignore my thoughts, to fight them, to distract myself. Nothing has worked. Maybe this wise man, this person who has dedicated his life to understanding the mind, can help me find the peace I so desperately crave. And so, Marco made his preparations. He packed a small bag with some bread, cheese, and a map, and at the dawn of the next day, he set out on his journey. The journey was long and tiring, far more difficult than he had imagined. For many days, he walked. He followed winding dirt paths that snaked through dense forests. He climbed steep, rocky hills that left his muscles aching and his breath short. He crossed cold, rushing streams that numbed his feet. At night, he slept under a blanket of brilliant stars, the silence of the wilderness a stark contrast to the noise in his head. During the journey, his mind was his greatest obstacle. As he walked, his thoughts tormented him. "This is foolish," one thought would say. "You are wasting your time. There is no magic cure for a mind like yours." Another would whisper, "What if you get there and the old man refuses to see you? What if he thinks you are a fool?" He was tempted many times to turn back, to return to the familiarity of his misery. But the small spark of hope that had been lit in the marketplace pushed him forward. He held on to it like a precious ember, protecting it from the winds of his own doubt. After many days of this long and tiring journey, Marco finally reached the village in the hills. It was quieter and smaller than he had expected. The air was filled with the scent of pine and damp earth. When he got there, he saw a small, humble house covered with climbing green vines. On the porch of the house, an old man was sitting quietly in a simple wooden chair. His eyes were closed, his hands rested gently on his knees, and his face was a portrait of profound peace. He looked as if he were a part of the landscape itself, as timeless and serene as the mountains behind him. Marco approached him slowly, his heart pounding with a mixture of nervousness and anticipation. He stood before him for a moment, simply observing the deep tranquility the old man radiated. Then he spoke, his voice soft, almost a whisper. "Grandfather, my mind is very restless. I cannot stop thinking. My thoughts make me sad about the past and worried about the future. I want peace in my heart. Can you help me?" The old man slowly opened his eyes. They were clear and kind, and held a depth that seemed to contain a lifetime of wisdom. He gave Marco a calm, gentle smile, a smile that seemed to understand everything without a word being said. He said, "So, you are looking for peace? You have traveled a long way to find it. Then come with me. I will give you a small task." He stood up, his movements slow and deliberate, and led Marco to his little yard. The yard was simple, with a small well and a few pots of herbs. Then, he took a plain glass from a shelf and filled it with water from the well. He filled it completely, right to the very top. The glass was so full that the water formed a perfect shimmering dome above the rim, held there only by surface tension. It was so full that even a little shake, a single misstep, would make the water spill. He gave the glass to Marco and said, "Walk from here to the very edge of the village, and then come all the way back to me. But remember this one rule. You must not spill even one single drop of water." Marco looked at him with surprise. He had come all this way, through forests and over mountains, seeking profound wisdom, and he was being asked to carry a glass of water? It seemed like a strange, almost childish game. But he saw the seriousness in the old man's eyes, and he wanted to do his best, to prove he was worthy of the wisdom he sought. So, he accepted the challenge. He took the glass from the old man. It was heavier than he expected. He held it carefully with both hands, his fingers wrapped tightly around it, and started walking. His entire world shrank to the size of that glass, to the shimmering surface of the water he was trying so hard not to disturb. The road was narrow and busy. It was the middle of the day, and the village was alive with activity. Some people were walking, chatting loudly with one another. A group of children were running and laughing, chasing a stray dog down the path. Shopkeepers stood in their doorways, calling out to customers, their voices filling the air. From a blacksmith shop, he could hear the rhythmic clang of a hammer hitting an anvil. The smell of freshly baked bread wafted from a bakery, mingling with the earthy scent of dust kicked up from the road. Normally, Marco's mind would have been pulled in 100 different directions by these sounds, sights, and smells. He would have worried if the children would bump into him. He would have felt self-conscious about the people watching him. He would have been distracted by the blacksmith's loud hammering. But now, Marco did not look around. He did not listen to the conversations. His eyes stayed fixed, locked only on the glass of water. His entire being, every ounce of his concentration, was dedicated to this one single task. Do not spill a drop. He walked slowly and carefully, step by step. He felt the texture of the ground through the soles of his shoes. He adjusted his balance with every tiny shift in the road. His breathing became slow and steady, synchronized with his steps. People looked at him with surprise, a young man walking with such intense focus, but no one disturbed him. Perhaps they sensed he was in the middle of something important, a lesson that was meant only for him. He reached the edge of the village, a large oak tree that marked its boundary. He paused for a second, took a slow breath, and began the careful journey back. The return trip was just as challenging. The sun was high in the sky, and he could feel sweat on his brow, but he dared not lift a hand to wipe it. His entire universe was the glass, the water, and the present moment. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Marco came back to the old man's house and stood before him. He held out the glass. The water was still perfectly full, shimmering at the brim. He said, his voice filled with a sense of accomplishment, "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't spill even one drop of water." The old man nodded and smiled his serene smile. Then he asked, "That's good, very good. But tell me, during your walk, did you see the children playing on the side of the road? Did you see the beautiful flowers in the baker's window? Did you hear the dogs barking?" Marco looked surprised. He thought for a moment, searching his memory, and he realized he couldn't remember any of it. He said, "No, grandfather. I didn't see or hear anything. My mind, my eyes, my entire being. I was only focusing on the glass and the water." The old man's smile widened and he said gently, "That is the secret. That is the peace you have been searching for. It is something that was always inside you, but you didn't know how to access it. When your mind stays completely in the present moment, when your focus is entirely on the task at hand, then there is no space for fear, no room for confusion, and no energy left for extra thoughts. While you were carrying that glass, you were not sad about your past. You were not afraid of your future. You were only thinking about the water in the glass, about the step you were taking right now. At that time, your mind became completely quiet, completely still. The storm ceased. That stillness, Marco, that focused presence, that is peace." Slowly, like the sun rising over the mountains, Marco began to understand. The long journey, the strange task, it was all a lesson. The peace he was searching for wasn't a place he could travel to. It wasn't a magic word or a complex philosophy. Peace is not something we find outside of ourselves. Peace is what remains when we fully inhabit the present moment. Peace is already inside us, waiting patiently beneath the noise of our thoughts. Marco bowed his head in gratitude and said softly, "Grandfather, now I understand. The glass of water was my present moment. If I want to calm my mind, I must keep my mind in this moment, on whatever I am doing right now, just as I did with the glass. That is when real peace comes." The old man smiled again and placed a gentle hand on Marco's shoulder. The sun was setting, and its last golden light touched the ground. Birds were flying back to their nests, their calls echoing softly in the evening air. Marco started his long walk back home. But now, he was not the same restless young man who had arrived. He had changed. He was peaceful inside, because now he knew how to calm the storm. The secret was not to fight the waves, but to dive deep into the present moment, where the water is always calm and still. As he walked, he didn't worry about the long road ahead, nor did he regret the difficult journey behind him. Instead, he noticed the brilliant colors of the sunset. He felt the cool evening breeze on his cheek. He heard the sound of his own steady footsteps on the path. He was simply walking, fully present and fully at peace. This story of Marco is a story for all of us. Our lives are the busy village path. The distractions, the noises, the people. These are the worries, memories, and demands that constantly call for our attention. The glass of water is whatever is right in front of us in this moment. It could be the simple act of drinking a cup of tea, the task of writing an email, a conversation with a loved one, or the feeling of our own breath moving in and out of our body. When we give our full attention to that one thing, when we carry it with the same care and focus as Marco carried his glass of water, our minds naturally become quiet. The past and future fade away, and all that exists is the now. And in the now, there is no room for anxiety. In the now, there is only peace. Music. If you like this story, and if it has resonated with you, please give it a like and share it with your friends who might also be seeking a moment of peace. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories like this one. Thank you for staying with us, for sharing this moment of reflection. See you in the next story, with new thoughts and new lessons. Until then, stay well, be present, and stay peaceful.